Hello, I'm the head writer, and in this channel we hit one amon. In this video, we will look at the real problem of My Hero Academy's society, the individualism. Before we start, I would like to ask you to like, subscribe, share and comment, where you disagree with me and where you agree, and where I can improve in my videos. Remembering, this video will contain spoilers of the manga My Hero Academy and My Hero Academy Vigilantes. So let's start, shall we? So what is Boku no Hero Academy? Boku no Hero tells the story of 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚎𝚑𝚝 Midoriya, a young man born without an individuality, power, in a world where 80% of the population manifests at least one at a young age. The young man's dreams of becoming a hero inspired by the number one hero, All Might, is massacred by the discovery. About to enter the high school, Midoriya has an encounter with All Might, who saves him, but he accidentally shows that he is weakening. Then, when the hero sees the boy courage in throwing himself into danger to save his classmate and rival Bakugo, he accepts him as a pupil, helps him train, and eventually passes the one-for-all individuality to Deku. What about the manga Vigilantes? The manga is about Koichi Haimawari, a young man who, despite not being a licensed hero, uses his quirk to help others. After he and a street artist, Kazuho Hanayama, are harassed by a group of thugs, they are saved thanks to the vigilante Knuckle Duster, who recruits Koichi to become a vigilante himself. So My Hero Academy illegal vigilantes. As I write this script, I just read the manga, and how good it is, boy. Or shounen. It made me reflect on a very big problem in My Hero Academy society, and it has everything to do with the UA motto plus ultra. As we know, the society of My Hero Academy is based on the exclusive use of quirks by the heroes. Heroes in the society are nothing more than public servants who are glorified as artists and celebrities. Although it's not clear how the heroes are paid, we know that in the reality they almost always have more than one job. Heroes are the only ones allowed to use their quirk because they have better training and have done several tests and studies on their quirk, basically being in their prime. But this creates a very big problem in society, because for a society that seeks that its individual improve themselves and give their all at every opportunity, to press so many powers and utilities for common everyday life just because of the mass chaos that would be generated if everyone could use their quirks freely becomes a dysfunctional norm. For many of these oppressed people end up pursuing an unending goal, that goal being the ability of using their quirks, and this by itself creates villain and vigilantes. According to the character of the Vigilante manga, Makoto Tsukaoshi, when the hero system was created, some of the Vigilantes were turned into heroes. According to herself, only those who had quirks that looked heroic or very cheerful personalities were turned into heroes. The same ones being only 7 people at that time. By separating society into two categories, heroes and non-heroes, those who don't fit into the category of what a hero theoretically represents in the world of My Hero Academia, those who are not overly cheerful, powerful, and extraordinary, becomes an outcast and useless. If you ever try to do something in love only for someone else to come along and do a little better than you or even worse than you and just be bragged about as if they made a masterpiece, then you understand the feelings of their non-heroics. This of course does not justify many of the actions of the vigilantes and violence, but at least explain their motivations. After all, being deprived of a part of yourself is something extremely agonizing, and of course few would understand what that means. Now, everything that I have said so far, although it's a problem, it's still a collective problem of separating and judging in different ways certain groups of people, which cause various problems, like the fact if a hero commits a crime would be judged differently and probably in favor of the hero if the crime is judged. Where would the individualism that I have stated earlier and the plus ultra problematic come in? Look, I am your father. Look, I really wish I didn't have to use the almighty argument, but I couldn't think of a better example. So let's go. All Might, the #1 hero, also the 80 user of a quirk named One for All. All Might carried the torch of his quirk and of society itself alone for at least 30 years, being the symbol of the peace. Although he aspired mainly to be like him, he set an insurmountable limit, having a quirk that gave himself the raw power of 7 generations, which remarkable proved to be something extremely difficult to keep up with. Even extremely powerful quirks like Hellfire, or even powerful people like Miracle, Hawks, or Red Shot couldn't do that. The problem this creates is that in an effort to keep up with All Might and the meaning of heroism going beyond the ultra, heroes would have to drop everything and push their limits to the max without caring who they hurt in doing so. We see this happening with Endeavor and Katsuki Bakugo, where in order to achieve the power of not being forgotten and always remembered as the strongest, they didn't care who they hurt. See specifically how that mentality broke people like Shoto Todoroki, Dabi, and Deku. And that's the problem, the word forgotten. They don't want to be the best version of themselves, or even the strongest to save others, but to be remembered. And that's horrible, because that goes against what All Might wanted to inspire. He wanted everyone to go beyond their limits to help others, but he ended up inspiring another motivation in their hearts. In the manga Vigilantes, we see the same mentality in the other spectrum of the problem. The villain #6 wanted so badly to be the same as the hero O'Clock, not because he wanted to save people, but because he didn't want to be forgotten. And during his final clash against the Crawler, he understood where the difference between him and Crawler was. Koichi the Crawler, just like Deku, never wanted to be a hero to be remembered, but to help others at the expense of himself. But here is where you think my argument is flawed. If the individualism that All Might generates, how come be both protagonists be inspired by All Might and not suffer from this problem? This is because both are exceptions. If we look at ideologies in real life itself, we can see that they are usually distorted, whether consciously or not. But with Deku being the 9th user of One for All and acting differently from the peace symbol itself, there is still hope that the Plus Ultra and the torch will now be carried by society in search of betterment. After all, as much he didn't want to be remembered by everyone, His greatest strength was the ability to be able to ask for help and simply get others to be inspired by him to do the same. So we can hope that the greatest hero of all, who started at the bottom, can make society stop dividing itself and unite in a single phrase: one for all and all for one. Don't forget to comment on what you thought of the video, and if you disagree with me, why though? If you are interested in more videos about my views, or just to see how I do when I am creating my own story, click on one of these videos that appearing right now.